did some research last night about, exactly what you want to run against this team and how they like to play it. So you just have to trust in all of that. And we'll see what happens. Big at ENCE. Big starting on the CT side, which is the other really unfortunate situation for the Finnish team. Can get out to a very rough start, as we saw yesterday from Cloud9 on this map. Didn't want to bring it up.
Yeah, it had to be brought up at some stage. And the thing with ENCE, though, having a look at some positives, they played this map 11 times over the last 3 months. 91% win rate.
Ooh, that's a spicy little statistic. Here we go. Next, close to ladder room. He's going to hear a lot of information. 3 players stacked from Big. Oh, Tizian gets drilled in the face. Not ideal. And at the moment, we'll see how this happens. Alu and X7 still hanging far back with the bomb. That's over towards T mid, though. I have a feeling this is going to end up outside.
Yeah, it's looking likely with the bomb in control from X7 just out there. This looks like it's going to be more of a fake.
Nex is going to have a big job. You imagine these inner players, some of them, at least one of them, will rotate down ladder. Sergey and Alexei going to commit here. Great flashbang, great counter, both quick kills. Huge deficit for ENCE now.
Oh, Nex had the right idea. Could hear the footsteps coming down the ladder, and it's up to Aerial. He's already put 2 players to rest. Has to go better. Alu, hot pursuit of God B, can hear his footsteps around the corner as well. There's still, with all this action ensuing, 45 seconds for the Finns to make something a reality on their T side, but God B is going to put an end to that. Aerial's going to try and erode away the tracks of the A side. At range, the USP on both teams is going to be pretty damn strong, but it's going to be Aerial that actually lands the headshot. There's God B, leading from example. He may not have had the most kills in the last one, but he's already picked up 2 in this.
You saw him take a massive breath as well once he got that final kill, jumping over to the trains, could have given up his position. Aerial has been the only player delivering for ENCE in these 2 maps so far. Obviously still very early on in this second map, but he was the only one you could really talk about on Dust 2. He's the one that got them started with some great catwalk holds in that first half. Here he gets 4 kills in the pistol round, the only one to find any frags. You can just see, Big is one of the teams, well, we obviously always point towards actually hold the thought, fast-paced towards outside, utility being used deep into this train yard. X7 gonna lead the way, Aerial down low, got B dinked, finished off. There is a player who's pushed Ivy for Big, but they have to get back. They have to hold on this bomb site. These are awkward fights to get into. Xantares is the only one delivering, but he's caught in a reload. A chance here for ENCE to respond, and even Tizian coming through like a madman through the smoke. He falls after 1 kill, and Tapson could be an easy cleanup on Alu. This has been a non-stop brawl outside ever since it began, and he's working the train. Alu dealing some damage. There's an opportunity on the ground. Tapson is going to make it easy work. But Jesus, that just never stopped.
No, it was ruthless aggression met by a resilient bunch of players from Big trying to hold the line. And although Tapson was the last player standing, ENCE also force-bought into that round. So do they want to force behind this? Can they sense the weakness? Yes, they can. They're going to go in for this, Moses. Ooh. This is such a key moment already early on in the map. I
like this. And actually, Big have not caught on to what ENCE might want to do here. They're going to get a nasty surprise. Good nade in. Gabi trying to get in towards the ladder room. Wondering if Alexei heard that last footstep that he made, and he definitely knows now. Gabi, oh, he spotted the rifle. Nex has dropped Aerial. That was one of the AKs, and somehow Gabi wins that. Taps it under pressure now. He's caught out in the open by a nade, but no one from ENCE is connecting any of these shots. You like the aggressive call to buy up the AK-47s, but this has been a disaster. This is going to put them really on their back foot. Gabi finds the final kill.
I love the idea, but dislike the execution there, Moses. It was just so raggedy. It was just so strange and disjointed again. They got players peeking 1 by 1 on likes of Ivy. No counteractive play. No avenging kills.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the aggression from GotB was probably a little bit of a surprise. But certainly that could have looked prettier from the ENCE side of things. 3-0 for Big, looking for a hot start in their CT side, and now they saw the AKs, they saw the scout, they handled that with ease. Keep the SMGs, build up some more bonus money, we'll see what happens. I was going to say, we can go over this while there was, since we can finally now kind of take a breath, maybe, perhaps.
Nope.
Santero's going to get a nice little headshot there. Still no danger. He doesn't spot that player scoped in the field of vision. Seems to be handled, so I'll just get on with it. We talk about this with Astralis and Liquid, which is, I mean, kind of obvious because they're like the number one and number two team in the world. Big is probably right up there with them in terms of how effective they are with utility usage. And the reason, I mean, it's kind of awkward now, but going back to the pistol round, that setup they had towards Inner, you could see when the eventual commitment down the lower ramp happened, the two players kind of peeked out, got their attention, kept them fighting and looking at the angles, and then a flashbang came in from the third player that was stacked up there. So, I mean, that was a beautiful setup if you think all the way back to 4 rounds ago. But I'm sure we'll see plenty more of it in this half from Big. They are great with their nades.
And as you touched on, Train, one of the most tactical maps in the current pool. So this is where God B can really get his teeth into the CT and the T side. And that comes around. The question is, how many rounds will ENCE have? And Sergey flash into peak as if to prove a point.
I know. Shout out to Big. Thank you for that.
And that's going to yield the opening pick. It's a rifle taken away from ENCE.
It's frustrating to play against teams that are so good with flashbangs and nades like that. Because you do, as a player, know you can compete and you can fight on a skill level, but just getting completely neutralized by a flashbang makes you hate everything about Counter-Strike.
Yeah, it does feel like when playing against Big, it's a kind of a claustrophobic feeling. You're just being choked out slowly off these grenades.
And when they have those SMGs, like flashbang through a smoke, you can be so aggressive, you can show up on the other side of that smoke very, very quickly. Another one. Another flashbang. It's beautiful work and the information on top of it. And ENCE is on the back foot.
Yeah, they are reeling. They are being stunned at the moment. Next, they're trying to spray through with the AUG, does one, and nearly gets the kill onto Alexi B. Tags him down to 81 health. Alu has made inroads through Ivy's side, and his teammate partner in crime, Alexi B, has been found, and the bomb has been dropped. You can see that Big realized that Alu is here, and it's going to be more of the same. It's an identical start to Dust 2, a 5-0 lead for Big.
Tizian doesn't even pick up that AWP on Alu, so, I mean, part of it, maybe they don't want a double-up setup, but also another save round is a possibility for ENCE here. They are completely stumped. I mean, the opening 2 kills of this is phenomenal flashbang work.
Yeah, $200 investment, but can yield so much in return if used correctly. And, well, God B's already got more kills on this map than he did the entirety of Dust 2. So there you have it. Definitely capable of fragging out when he's required. 7-1. Top killer on either side. 3 players really yet to get off the mark for ENCE. They're on 1 kill apiece, Alexi, Sergey, and X7.
What's wild about it is it almost feels that previous round like Big was being the offensive team with those SMGs, and even the flashbang peak towards Ivy as well. They used so much of their utility with like 45 seconds left. Big was out of nades because they used it all to be aggressive. ENCE actually had the advantage in utility down the stretch of that round, but they just lost too much before it.
Nade lands plumb on Alu, playing aggressively. 2 grenades into a next AUG. We'll seal the deal. And off to another sticky start are the Finns. Tizian, all by his lonesome. That grenade just punctures 3 of them.
Oh dear, oh dear.
They just can't catch a break right now, ENCE. Everywhere they go, they're being smacked down. Tizian MP9 opens up with authority with 2. Sergey burns to a crisp.
I don't think Big has played around without an SMG quite yet.
If that had have landed.
Oh my god, what an ass. Oh, that would have been, I wish it would have. Oh, I would have died. Alexi, the last one left.
Skillful self-censorship there as well, Moses. Alexi B with the headshot to Zantares. Does have an AUG. Maybe there's a way forward to get some more kills. In terms of the round, it's over. The bomb has been dropped on B. It is too far out in the open, but Alexi B does have a smoke. And they're going to have a buy in the next round, so it's important that he does die before the time runs out, so we can at least get that round loss bonus. A team led by God B is not going to make any overextensions here. And Tizian finds another one. 3 kills in the round for him with the MP9.
Wait, pick up the AUG. Drop it to a teammate.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, isn't it?
He did it with the op earlier as well. He's just like, listen, this is my magic MP9. I am not letting it go.
Sometimes I do this because I'm a scumbag at matchmaking. If I have a stat track weapon, I'm like, nah, I want the stat track kills. Get wrecked.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
All right. All right. A little bit of insight into Vince's world.
Yep.
The madness.
Terrible teammate, of course.
Tizian, we'll see how good that MP9 actually is. You can see him run halfway up the ramp, chuck a flash, and hear footsteps, and then just back away. So he's going to burn an early smoke. He doesn't even want to look for the information. He knows they're going to head there. Timing on this nade, not great, but the idea is sound.
Yeah, and that's something that will be respected by ENCE in future rounds. They know that Big are going to throw that grenade in, may be susceptible to getting chunked later on. Just keeping them on their tiptoes.
I'm really intrigued to see how ENCE is going to get their first round. As you said, a GOB team not likely to make any kind of crazy mistake in a 5-on-5, just going for a wild peek in towards the choke point. Only 2 flashbangs for them left. 2 Molotovs as well. One of them on Tizian at the inner bomb site. This is a pretty nasty setup, because even if ENCE attacks inner, they're going to have some fast flanks. They'll have a double up on the flank as well. This is all a fake. Again, it might just be send Sergey and see what he can create for you. Hope it pulls some rotations.
Similar idea to the pistol round. This time with weapons behind it. Sergey's made inroads. Down ramp already. Tizian does take a tag through the coils. Now I'm going to have a quick peek with the MP9. This is where an upgraded gun probably would have yielded some better result. 15 seconds, got beat, goes to town with another one. Bomb's been dropped, but Alu's going to be able to reclaim it. The downside is there's 3 players and not much time, and he has to get out of there. And he is going to be saving, and Big will move to a 7-0 lead on their CT side.
This is nasty. Big is winning everything, not just the fights themselves, but in terms of positioning, and ENCE haven't even gotten close to a bomb site.
It's a really good point. No plants yet.
GOB was in that position the whole time, just waiting. Even finds Alexi as he comes down. Alu even tagged him through the wall during that sequence. And for ENCE, you can't really do anything but try again. We haven't even yet seen any kind of a set piece out of them. No smoke walls outside. That was a little bit of a set piece towards inner, but just one player committing to it.
Tizian's going to get forced to use that Molotov, courtesy of a couple of tags. And as he is the only player on B currently, it could draw a player across from A.
This is going to be a hit from ENCE, though. They found a perfect timing. No one's rotated back, so finally Big is going to be tested. Finally, we're at least going to get a plant.
Tizian nearly holds on to the 1 kill. This is where the retake should be in effect for Big. They don't have a huge amount of grenades to play with, couple of smokes and a HE. And ENCE are going to take the opportunity to push, try and take the fight too Big before they can get in position to strike.
And if you're Big, you want to maintain a little bit of presence here, just so they don't go on the hunt too early, but you're just saving. You're trying to take these guns away. That would be so detrimental to the economy, depending on how many they can get at the end. There, they know where Alexi B is, but Tabson just walks right into it with the AWP, maybe a little bit overconfident, and it doesn't work out for Big. A lot of the weapons taken away from them. There's still one more. She's aerial. Oh, nice work with the sound. Fakes the jump up. Baits next into the peak. That's a first round finally for ENCE, but there's still so much money on the CT side.
Yeah, the only player really struggling right now is Antares, down at 4.7k, but of course he can still afford no problems. Tabson had well over 10,000, could drop for Antares. Looks like that is the case. But at least ENCE have been able to force Big to replenish these guns. It is costly. It will catch up with them eventually. And we did see a similar half on Dust 2. They were massive deficit, bounced back with 5 rounds in a row. Made the half interesting. Maybe we're going to have a repeat performance.
What's scary is it just looks like, oh, that's a great double nade. One comes through the window. It's Tabson with the kill. I thought that was the HU for a second, and I was going to freak out. Tizian does fall towards that inner bomb site. Finally, they get an entrance in, and they just wait for that peek from Xantares. He's lucky to have his life still. Smoke down. He's going to make it through with no damage. Bomb being planted, though. Alu missing an opportunity to thin the herd before this retake begins, but we have a 4-on-4.
We certainly do. This time there are a couple of Molotovs. There's more grenades at Big's disposal. This could put them in. They've just tossed both volleys out. Going to draw out Sergey into the open. And Xantares is able to filter out a couple more terrorists. Ariel and Alu up against Godby and Nex. Time has been ticking away, though. And is there feasibly enough? There's no kits in play for Big. I think they're going to have to pull the plug.
That final smoke went towards upper instead of onto the bomb where there were flames. So yeah, there was no chance of them winning that. They're going to have to back away. Another nice round for ENCE. This time, they're able to finally... Ooh, looking for the AWP as Ariel. That would be important to find, and he does grab it. This time, they're able to pick off Tizian, who's been an annoyance at that inner bomb site, and they get in before the rotation comes. Much like last round, although the previous round that ENCE had won, they forced Tizian away and just continued that hit. And again, beat the rotations.
I wonder if, with the Orc coming into prominence a bit more, Moses, you're going to see more of these one-player positions on B, because the Orc can come through connector and the backside towards CT and have so much influence. Because what we're noticing is that Tizian now, the last couple of rounds, has been caught on B. And that has, by and large, been how ENCE have been getting their rounds. I wonder if that'll continue to be the case.
I think Big's going to have plenty of confidence in Tizian playing that inner bomb to be able to get away more often than not. The previous round, remember, the first round that ENCE won, Tizian actually called it out. I don't know if he called for them to stay outside or what, but there was plenty of opportunity for the rotation to come in. They just chose not to. Either way, here we are, 7-2, still a lead for Big, but that money has dwindled very, very quickly. No one with eyes on Ivy at the moment. There's a pop flash. Last time they used it for a peek, and you could see Ariel feeling uncomfortable. Oh, I don't like this from ENCE. They're going to try and split around the back wall towards Old Bomb. That's a good opening kill, but still, it's such a long route to run. There's a player in CT spawn. Oh, Nex misses his chance. Alu's found that. You can see the danger, how many different angles they've had to fight from, but they've won all of them, thankfully. Tizian somehow gets away pushing upper to flank outside, but the bomb is being planted in her. Sergey must have heard a footstep. He's on the hunt.
Tizian may not be long for this world. Gonna get caught in the backside. Sergey finds him. It's one of those kind of rounds from ENCE where they get the success, they only lose one player, but if one of those duels had gone differently, the round could have just fell to pieces. I've seen so many teams, that was a super popular strategy in some of the old versions of Counter-Strike on Train, and I've seen so many teams try and make it work, and just more often than not it falls flat, because look at all the different angles that you have to worry about. Even when the smokes are up, some of those are still deadly. You know, like you said, it works this round just because they straight up won all those fights, but if you don't get those instant headshots, you just tend to bleed too many players, and by the time you get to CT spawn, that second prong of the attack isn't as effective as you'd like it to be. Yeah, a big part of that was Nex whiffing, but here comes Xantares, and Sergey will punish the aggression. Understand why they've gone for it. It's just pistols across the board.
They wanted to crunch up ladder, I believe, as well with Godby there. They wanted to get 1 or 2 kills from that flashbang, have Godby fly up behind ENCE, who's trying to push back aggression. Somehow that was working out for just a hot minute.
Felt like 50 Molotovs were tossed in connector there, get a double barbecue.
Going for that extra crispy recipe.
Now Tizian with a Desert Eagle, going to see if he can claim some kills, maybe salvage a weapon, would be a nice bonus out of the round. But yeah, ENCE have done it again. They start to bounce back, 7-0 to 7-4. Big not quite looking as confident as they were before. Not going to happen for Tizian, but a full buy on the horizon.
This is exactly right, what looked like such a dominant half where we were even wondering how ENCE was going to be able to win some rounds. Now 4 in a row have slipped away, and we've got a half on our hands. Big, as you mentioned, going to buy here as the losing bonus builds up, and as that round was pretty much just a half investment so that they could afford it this round. Tapson can have an AWP. And they're going to talk it through in a timeout. No one's bought anything. Now it's coming in right at the end of the timeout.
Tizian could go for a second AWP if Big won it, but they've already had a couple of opportunities to, and they passed on it last time.
Well, he was holding on to that StatTrak MP9, remember?
Also had the opportunity for an AUG, but decides to go for the M4. God B and Next will be utilizing the flavor of the month. Well, I guess the AUG's been around for, well, at this level of power for a little while longer, but here's the aggression, Xantares. And again, last time it was Sergey, this time X7. It's just going to backfire. Outside control now being established. After a timeout, it's fell to pieces once again.
Tabson needs a kill here, but the Molotov going to hold him back, and he goes for the peek. Alu just holding that angle. Nex is going to fall as well. And Big, they seem to have discovered a recipe, and it's almost like they're just playing so aggressive that it's not giving Big the time to do any of those flashbang setups. You know, the peaks that we kept seeing in the early stages of this half. They're not slowing down and kind of spending time in choke points. They're getting out and taking fights.
Yeah, some of that may be to the credit of ENCE. They've definitely sped things up. But you're not really giving yourself the chance to go for flashes if Xantares is pushing up ramp.
That was out of a timeout as well, so that was like a designed play. I wonder if it was something where it was just like, you know, they ask Xantares just straight up, like, what do you want to do this round? And he's like, I would like to rush box halls. And now they would like to rush mid. And now ENCE is rushing inner. And there goes Tizian, the only defender.
Not much you could really do. Didn't have any grenades. Typically as the lone defender on B, you want to have a smoke and a Molotov. Stall out for as long as possible. But ENCE going to be taking a 6th round in a row. Xantares lands himself for 1 Digger on the corner. I think that was on connector's side, and a second. He's going to make this a costly one for ENCE. I mean, they're all pretty much swimming in the money at this stage. Does the world of good to their confidence, though, Big. If one of their stars is teeing off. Yeah, it's not going to save the round for them. Thompson, the next player to fall. So respect to ENCE for bouncing back. This looked like the map was getting into dangerously murky waters, but they have cleared it up nicely. I mean,
even if you stretch this back to Dust 2, I mean, that was like a 23-5 run that Big was rolling with there across the 2 maps. But yeah, ENCE have responded just fine and have recovered, and I mean, even since once they took the money away, they've really exploited some of these fast-paced rounds as well. You know, getting out of that mid-choke point, getting out into the outer train yard with 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. No Molotovs, no smokes, no double nades to put into a choke point for Big, and ENCE has really exploited that fact.
Now knowing that this half and a Fulcrum point going to call a second timeout.
It's a... yeah, I guess so. Alu put tech in the chat, so I figured that meant a tech pause, but we have the graphic for a tactical pause, which is why I think you are confused, sir.
Yes, I got baited.
You did get baited.
Did you bait?
Not confused, you got you got fooled, juked.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if a timeout came now, just trying to establish an 8-7 lead, but we'll just scrap all of that. Apparently someone has some technical issues. Hopefully that's going to get fixed momentarily. Do see a headset off. Never a great sign.
No, that's the first of the warning signs.
When players stand up, you know it's all over.
Yes. It'll be cool to watch what ENCE do these last 2 rounds of the half, because they have so much money now. Sergey has 13,000, Ariel's at 8,000, Alu's at 10,000. Like, there's so much cash that they have that they can do whatever they want and not have to worry about having a weekend buy in that last round. So they've really played themselves right in this. And this is a mirror image of the first half of Dust 2, where it was a long stretch of dominance for Big and then a long stretch of dominance for ENCE.
The main difference here, though, is that first off, this is obviously ENCE's choice of map, but additionally, their difficulties and woes on Dust 2 were on the CT side. Now they're going to be moving through onto the easier of the halves, with at least 6 rounds, potentially more, on their choice of map. So this is definitely looking like a much brighter future for ENCE on Train.
You'd say everything's kind of coming together to give us a third map in this series.
Definitely feels that way. And the third map, if we need it, would be Overpass. Always a tantalizing prospect. Personally, my favorite map in the current pool. Where did you come down on that one? What's your favorite map to cast?
I don't know. I've honestly never really thought about it. I'll take Inferno if it's a third map.
Yeah, okay. Overtimes pretty much go hand in hand.
Inferno third map is so god tier.
Yeah, Inferno kind of has a bit of it all. The reason I love Overpass so much is the aggression that both sides can throw in.
You want to hear something wild, Vince?
Go on.
Because while we're over here having fun with Big and ENCE, Astralis Renegades is going on. They're currently in overtime. Renegades is leading in that overtime, 18-16. How do you feel about that one?
On the first map?
On the first map, Mirage.
Wasn't it 12-3 at one
It was
stage?
indeed 12-3.
What? Okay. Am I being debated again, Moses?
No, I'm dead serious.
Wow.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
That is really impressive, because Astralis have looked rock solid. Yeah, we only see them in 2 maps, but the 2 maps we've seen...
The Og giveth and the Og taketh away.
Apparently so. Wow. I'm actually a bit stunned at that.
Yeah, well, next up is Nuke.
Yeah,
so
that's
if you're
where things
Renegades,
get
you're like,
sad.
please close this out. If someone had asked you, like, before this major began, Renegade, or if someone told you Renegades is going to be the team that breaks Astralis' nuke streak, would you have just laughed at him?
I'd have told him to put the pipe down.
Yeah, they would have been in an alternate reality. That'll be interesting.
In terms of our match here, I'm not entirely sure what the technical issue is. So it's hard to give you an ETA.
Yeah, no one's chatting. I believe the round is going to be restored as soon as one of the players gets back into the server, which should be happening soon. I think maybe they just did a quick little bit of a restart. Headphones aren't back on yet, though, so we got some time. It's connecting right now, being told.
Yeah, it's been a strange old map, though, this one. Really. If you'd gone for a break or gone AFK for a few moments at big 7-0, you thought, okay, well, this is probably done.
It was weird, too, because we're sitting here, and it's like, yeah, ENCE has just won 2 rounds in a row. Still doesn't really feel like they're going to get back into this. 3 rounds in a row, still not really going to get back into this. Even 4 rounds, I didn't quite believe it, and then I'm like, oh, God. Big has not been able to get back on the board.
Because it just seems like all of the strengths that Big had going on in the first 7 rounds have been completely torn to pieces, some of which seemingly from Big themselves. Like these set plays, these set pop flashes not really coming into prominence anymore. We've seen some aggressive plays right into the hands of ENCE. So maybe just slow things down. Easier said than done, of course.
Way easier said than done. Definitely. But I like the idea. There we go.
Oh, it's happening. Oh, God, no. Put them back in.
Do it now.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Let's go. It's back in the server. The bot has been removed. Gonna get a round restart for the cash monies. God B's gonna clap his hands.
Clap someone's face if they don't win this game after a 7-0 lead.
All right. He's aggressive. Here we go.
He's a big lad as well. I wouldn't want to get hit by him.
He's so nice, though.
Yeah,
There's no way he would ever do that. He's so nice.
He's a nice dude, for sure. We're seeing some purchases. It's looking good. Tizian, please buy something.
Man with a mustache.
Mr. Tabson.
Freeze time's coming to an end, so we are back into things. 6-7 if you're just tuning in. It was 7 in a row for Big. It's been 6-0 for ENCE. This is the best buy Big has had in quite some time, though.
Yep, that's definitely fair. They don't have an AWP, though. But then again, Tabson just as good with the rifles as he is with an AWP. He can kind of do it all. And ENCE decide best course of action right after a lengthy pause to put 2 players aggressively to box halls. They're not going to execute off it just yet, though. They're going to back away. Pop Dog, God B did Alu jump across. But ENCE have flirted with quite a few angles of the map. They haven't committed to anything fully yet.
This is one of the slower rounds we've seen recently.
Molotov going to force aerial back from a main. Oh, that's a strange molly. Just kind of got stuck in the wall.
Here's a cool play, though. Big going for some aggression out towards Ivy in the mid-round. Godb going to lead the way. You don't want to throw a flashbang in this scenario because you don't want to give up what kind of a play you're running. He's got a lot of information, and he can stay relatively safe there. If ENCE do commit outside, he can come back and surprise. Next needs to back away as this smoke is about to clear because Sergey and Alexei might be able to pounce there. Windows being broken, some spam coming through in response.
The problem with that information, it has a sell-by date. At this stage, someone could still be going Ivy. Enough time has elapsed.
They ran this strategy earlier. They're going back to it. As the bomb and Alu are still in T-mid, you're going to have Sergey and Alexei B fake an inner hit. Sergey will commit. He'll try and fall down the ladder, but this is a perfect defense. There's the first next. Needs to build upon that. Tizian doing a great job inside as well. They've committed 2 this time, but Tizian has the idea of what's coming, but he just gives up the angle. It's a 3-on-2. ENCE are making this work as well. Taps in, holding on, and it's just Alexei. He's got to come through the flames. Time is running out. Solo is taps in, but he can't get the bomb in time. There's no chance to recover and plant. And Big are going to get their 8th round. They're going to get their lead into the second half.
Yeah, that's a frustrating climax to the round for ENCE. They seem to do everything so well, and they ran into the blockade that is Tabson. His 2 kills were everything in round 14. But as we touched upon before that pause came into effect, ENCE have so much money, they can come straight back in with the AKs and the AWP. It's good to see that Alu also has bounced back after that poor Dust 2 performance. He's leading the charge of 11 and 9. Plenty of ADR, had plenty of AWP frags. Does get flashed out though, so he's going to have to relocate. That allows Tabson to move in.
He's really daring Tabson to hit that shot, isn't he? Nade comes in. Not a lot of utility on this defensive side. 3 smokes, a Molotov, and a flashbang. Alexei gonna get in front of that smoke. Godb's not ready for it. Didn't see that one coming. That smoke is gonna open up the wraparound, but Alexei had no idea. Second player right in the corner. Doubled up with Godb.
Yeah, from Godb's perspective, getting caught that way, you definitely don't expect a second player to be stacked next to Sergey, going to exchange frags. Still a minute plus to play with, and ENCE are starting to make moves outside. Alu just past the green train. Tabson peering across the E-box, going to take some damage. Starts to back away.
This is fine though, and I like this is a smart play from Tabson and ENCE. They have Tizian on a huge flank, so Tabson and ENCE are just slowly backing away. They want to stay alive. If either one of them gets killed, that's kind of the signal for ENCE to start pushing forward. No one from ENCE is watching behind them. Tizian turning the corner now, looking for Alu, but over towards E-box. Sergey is free as you'd like. Alu now laying in wait and sandwich. Flashbang. He can at least hold Tizian back, but all while he pays attention in this direction, he can't help his teammate. It's a really tough place for Aerial to be in. He's challenging over towards Old Bomb. He needs this kill, and he's got it now on top of the train, and ENCE looking to close this out with the 7th round. Alu's gonna find the flank, and there it is. ENCE have found the last one. They fought their way back into this half. A 7-1 run to close things out. A little bit of life in the Finnish players yet. We're heading to a break. When we come back, we'll see how this closes up. Quite the roller coaster ride we've had between Big and ENCE. Map 1 was domination from Big. Map 2 started out the same exact way until ENCE flipped a switch. They came back from 7-0 down, and they find themselves with a very narrow deficit here in the second half. Switching over to the easier side as well.
Yes, exactly. On their choice of map, where you're expecting they're going to have a pretty good time of it. It's all been about comebacks. On the A stream, Renegades came back from 12-3 to actually take the first map. But in the here and now, ENCE, can you hold on? Can you take us into a third map? It's that or bust. As far as the Finns are concerned, they're going to have more of a presence on the B side, but Aerial is going to be chipping in for some damage. Alexi B dropped to 1 HP, and Aerial makes a move back, going to join the rest of his teammates. They do have a kit in the hands of Alexi B, but a bomb is being planted. It's
going to be a huge retake, and there's only one player on the flank, so all four of these players are all going to be coming at the same angle. The player with the kit, 1 health, that can go down so easily, and they have to be careful about where that falls. You'd want him, ideally, to almost lead the charge. Great flashbang gives Antares an opportunity. Can't connect, but there he is finally, going for a follow-up and a second.
That is unreal aim by Centaurus, but Sergey's going to counteract alongside X7. 3-on-2, still stacked against the Finnish team. And it's just gone from bad to worse. X7 going to try and smoke on the site, but Big don't allow it to come to fruition. They pick up the second pistol and take a 2-round lead.
Is that all 4 pistols now won by Big in this game?
Yes.
What a huge advantage across a 2, potentially 3-map series. ENCE are not making this easy on themselves. 9-7. Timeout is called by Big. Straight out of that victory. Gabi not taking any chances. Making sure everyone's on the same page. Make sure they know exactly how to handle this.
I actually like this. They still have 2 more timeouts after this, so it's just to ensure they don't fall into the force by nightmare. Because if they can establish a good lead on the T-half and keep the economy events low, that is one of the best ways for Big to win this map and to win this best of 3.
Yeah, you get that early start on the T side and you continually just have them reset. That is the dream. Here we go. There was investment from ENCE on their CT side on Dust 2 with the double scouts, not doing it here on Train. So this might be easier than Gabi expecting, calling that timeout.
I do also wonder if the timeout actually made ENCE's decision for them. If they thought, well, maybe we just don't force here. We just stack on a site instead, see if we can catch Big off guard. So far, so good, though, to the Terrorist team. Tizian's been dinked, and these USPs are doing far more damage than Big will be comfortable with.
That should be able to mop this up, and yeah, responds onto Alu, and he's got 3 kills into the round. But yeah, 2 players do fall. Not bad for ENCE, considering it was just USPs and nothing else. Surely they're going to buy here in this round. Alu, the AWP in his hands, no armor behind it, no utility behind it. He desperately wants that weapon. The AUG's coming out as well. And, you know, okay utility. 2 kits on Sergey and X7, which will be quite nice if they ever have to retake anything. A little bit more time can be bought up in this 3rd round.
Yeah, Godby's a step ahead. He knows how important the AUGs are on Train. And in doing so, it's going to be a lack of head armor. So he's going to keep his Mach 10. Grenade not doing anywhere near as much damage as ENCE were hoping for. Just 4 HP to Xantares. Here comes smoke and flash from God B, preceding the charge. Big looking to get up in the face of ENCE, and so far it's going to yield 1 kill. Tamsin has been dealt with. He's one of the main men on the side of Biggs, and X7, while flashbang, sprays with his AUG and does claim himself a frag. God B with a hell of an entry, though, with the AK. Has reached a bit of a stalemate in this round. The bomb's still yet to be planted. They're actually going to pull back.
They've left Tizian on the bomb trade. We can find this going to Sergey. There it is. What a flick over. He even spots out Alu. No armor, can't get tagged up, but Tizian is holding onto this bomb train. There is a player flanking behind as well. Next coming in. There's a timing on this. He's been spotted now. He has to take that fight. And Nex is going to back away slowly. Bomb now creeping up to the train. That's a pretty risky fallback from Nex. And oh, Tizian not even paying attention to the possibility of Alu rotating around and got B. Can the in-game leader pull this off? He knows where both players are. 1 in connector, 1 towards Ivy.
Did he just make a step? Maybe. X7 around the corner is going to get the better of him with a 4K. 14 health separates him from death and potentially ENCE from around loss. But the head scratch to me was next pulled back and had his back turned to Ivy. You've got to assume that that peak come in.
That's like the longest route you can run. I think this is really where the trouble came for Big, is when they were trying to get out team mid. They were bombing flashbangs so deep, but the CT players from ENCE could just literally just sit there with the AUG and just spam towards the smoke. And even though they were blind, no one from Big could make any kind of progress actually attacking and utilizing those flashbangs properly. So we mentioned that for Big, the dream scenario is to continually reset and keep the money low events. They don't even get the opportunity to do the damage done in the previous round. It's Big who runs out of money first, even with that plant. Godb's invested in an AK-47, a little bit of armor and small investment on some of the other players, but nothing to be happy about.
They could still erode away the economy somewhat, though, with an AK-47 and some Desert Eagles. So ENCE may still feel the pinch. Only a couple of flashbangs to contend with, though. Maybe setting up Xantares for a quick push outside. Or inside, I should say, towards the B side. That grenade, though, chunks both Godb and Xantares. If they want to push, it's going to have to be right here, right now. Flashbang goes out first, but Alu's going to be able to chip in for the frag. One kill for Sergey. Alu's going to relocate, gets himself a second. This round should be laid to rest at this stage. Tabson is too far forward with the bomb to get a plant. Smoke. He's going to cordon off connector. Alu needs to be very careful. Ooh. He's alone. Tizian lands the headshot. He's going to go for seconds. No, it's not like this. This is a complete collapse. This should have been their round. They were in a 2-on-4. And now the AUG's been picked up from Big, and Tabson uses it against the CTs. A complete collapse, a catastrophe, a disaster. ENCE concede and Big move to a 3-round lead.
That might be the round that dictates ENCE going out of the tournament. You're exactly right. They blew that round in a massive way. They had everything they could have needed. They even had Tabson trapped, and they let him get away, but it's this follow-up. Tizian with that smoke down. Ariel needs to be waiting for his team. That needs to be a team solution to come through that smoke at the same time so they can at least trade that kill. If anyone's going to go through that smoke, they all need to go. As a 2-on-4, I believe?
Yeah, it was.
With Tabson trapped with the bomb far towards connector, they let that slip out of their hands. ENCE gonna look back on that round and discuss later on.
And not just that, but the round started with an AK and pistols. That was it. Tizian not gonna fall for the flash into peak from Ivy. They were hoping a player who was more up close. The pistols could be able to shred through the armor. And that range, the AK is always gonna win. Now pondering outside of the B side of the map. Smoke down, gonna draw some CTs to fill in the blanks. A rotation. It seems that Big is still going to go for B, so they're going to be walking into this stack. This is a bit of a worrying sign.
What we've seen from them so far in this series, though, is they're gonna treat this no matter what they might assume that ENCE has. They're going to use all the Molotovs and nades and utility. There goes Tabson. Not slowing down. There's Sergey, though, so if they want to turn back, now is the time. It actually Godb continues forward. A little bit dangerous. Bombs on the ground. Big might be handing it right back to ENCE. But next still alive. Alu so low. Needs to bait them into Sergey's crosshairs. There's a good find for Nex, and the flank still coming in. It's Tizian who's been waiting all along. Sergey hears it, excuse me, the USP is out, can't find that frag either. It's so close. He's got almost no HP, and Nex somehow stays alive and makes it work. Just barely hanging on as Big.
I don't know how Nex survived that. He was dodging bullets all over the place. He was low for the longest time. And Big, collective sigh of relief. They walk onto the stacked site, nearly have the favor returned.
Breathe easy, boys. Breathe easy.
ENCE now into a bit of a save. Just CZ, P250, no grenades. This is what we're talking about, keeping that economy down in the dumps. They're going to go aggressive. And Godb is waiting with a MAC-10. A spray, in effect, just Sergey answers back.
Not just Godb. Everyone's waiting. Big love that. Nice, quick, easy round. Here it comes for ENCE. Perhaps one of the last buy rounds they'll have. They must win this. Down 5. Again, I mean, the story for ENCE has been each of their halves just starting so slow. First half of Dust 2 was 0-8. Second half was 0-5. First half of Train was 7-0 for the favor of Big. Now in the second half, it's been 5-1 run for Big. ENCE just having to come back in every single half, every single map. And it's so tough to make that work with consistency at this level of play.
Especially against such a veteran in-game leader, can rally the troops. And if there are any communication issues, certainly haven't seen them today. It seems like a well-oiled machine. Molotov on box halls just to make sure no one peeks from the upper side. It's going to be Sergey alone on the site, but he's playing more of a passive angle. He's not going to be able to stop the initial push. Down ramp instead, deploys the smoke, crosses his fingers and hopes for the best. They're going to run into his crosshair. No, they're encircling him. They're enveloping the site, and Big will not miss out on this opportunity. Tizian chips in with 2. And at this stage, ENCE have to think about pulling back and saving. X7 going to take the fight to Centaurus with the hemorrhaging kills across the board, and X7 is going to go in for another one. However, it's one-dimensional. ENCE are both in connector, and Big have a triple threat. Aerial actually comes out swinging, though, with an M4A1S kill. This is now doable.
It's not planted for Tapson. He's got to hurry up on this flank, on this wraparound. Gabi's going to be all alone. There's no Molotov. He's going to ensure that they cannot get away no matter what happens, but there's another kill. They actually might win this. How has this happened? How have they made this work? X7 on the bomb. Tapson no gun out. He's going to go for the knife, but they've done it! ENCE pull out a literal miracle. 4 kills for X7. It should have never happened.
Just after I was saying how well-oiled machine they were, how systematic they were, yeah, curse the commentator again, of course.
And then the gears all exploded.
Although, the other side of the coin there is that was a phenomenal retake from X7 at the end, an aerial. Excellent work. But they're not out of the woods just yet. Big still have a buy coming right at them. And you can see the damage it's done. But only one player survives, so UMP and an MP9. They're still in a spot of bother here, ENCE.
This is so wild down the stretch. What a heroic round from X7. Now things slow down across the map.
X7 getting tanked up, having a quick peek across there. Needs to be very careful. At this stage, especially with the lack of weaponry and nades, they cannot afford to lose any players early on. The worst case scenario, they need avenge kills. Anything else will not do. Thompson not going to be touched by that Molotov, but aerial close range with the UMP. Can get the kill. I think he may have also picked up the AK.
Oh, this is dangerous. Though. Look at X7. I mean, look at Xantares. Excuse me. He's out. So is Tizian pressuring the bomb site. Great peek from X7. He's got fire in this game, but Xantares is lurking. He is going to wreak some havoc eventually. He's just looking for his timing, for his moment. This might be it. Alexi going to fall right back into his crosshairs. Surely now, Xantares strikes. Now with a one-on-one with Sergey.
The young Finn against the Turkish Terminator. 23 seconds. Centaurus does just have about enough time to go to the other side of the map on B, and Sergey has no idea.
He's so far away now. Actually, he's got the jump on it. He gets in very, very fast. There is a Molotov for Xantares, so if he gets this planted and gets away, Sergey perhaps won't let him. Now he realizes inside the site. If he sees where the bomb is planted, though, he's going to check this position.
Exactly. It's all about, can Xantares quad him off? This is why he's playing aggressively before Sergey can see it, and Sergey is able to stand up to the task, and he keeps ENCE in this game. Again, though, losing 4 players is going to be a rough buy in the next round, but ENCE are turning it up here. Is this real? Is this actually going to happen? Are ENCE going to bounce back from this horrendous deficit, this horrendous performance so far?
I mean, they got given such a lifeline in that retake in the round previous. That is, I'm so astounded they're even in this game. That right there, that should have been the knockout punch for Big. And now, I mean, it's another lifeline. They have the cash flow, they have the money. I mean, they're right on the edge after this buy. Still not out of it just yet. Still a great advantage in this game for Big, but feels like ENCE gave this one away earlier and Big handed it right back to him. Aerial, X7, Alexi, and Alu all playing far back. A line set, a line drawn in the sand. Right at the bomb train. Tapson's going to go through this. They're so blind. Fire everywhere as well. Tapson surely is going to get at least one of these entries up above the window. And Tapson actually just goes down for free despite all of his work.
But ENCE have been down and out in rounds similar to this and somehow bounced back. Somehow been resuscitated.
It doesn't happen twice, Vince.
Sergey, though, is going to see if that miracle can be repeated. Alu just begging for a pixel, begging for something to protrude around the corner, but it won't be happening. Bigger in good enough positions, ENCE have to turn tail and save. It's been 2 heroic rounds in a row, but it will not be a third.
It's actually, I mean, super impressive that Big is able to maintain their composure after that round that they gave up in round 22, even to make a one-on-one in round 23, and now eventually just take this, and all these weapons are valuable that Tizian's finding on the stretch. I think quietly, well, maybe not that quietly, he's 22 and 14, Nexus 24 and 14, but Tizian has been, he's impressed me for a player that you normally don't speak about with this team, with guys like, you know, Smooya having been on it, Gob B with his in-game leadership with Xantares and Tabson. You don't normally get to Tizian and kind of settle on that, but he's had some very impactful plays. He's been great on entries as well.
Yeah, he does go under the radar quite a bit when there's so much star-studded lineup around him. But his best of 3, he's definitely shone. You can see the impact taking that AWP away from Alu has. A scout and organ pistols. This could be it. This could be the beginning of the end for ENCE in the major. They may have to go through all of this all over again next time around. Alu's going to get the free kill on Gob B, but Xantares once again is going to find himself in the thick of it with 2 of his own. Alu's going to take that AK and make it work, and suddenly ENCE actually have the player advantage. Make that 2. These guys are Houdini. They keep escaping.
Maybe Big really wants to practice overpass, that third map.
They're like, come on, boys. Please. I don't even, Jason.
I mean, this is, it's always the fun part of the major, because this is where, when it is these elimination games, it does get scrappy, because you do make, you know, way more mistakes than you normally would in just a game online or a game, you know, that, you know, a group stage game. There's just so much more added pressure and added desire to do something impactful. 14-11 still in the favor of Big. A nice win for ENCE in that round, but still the money is going to be on the edge. They need to get that. I mean, that's a pretty solid win. 3 players surviving, a couple upgrades to the AK-47s, but still in a situation where losing in that final round, their buy will be diminished. So they have to be careful here. Not only do they need to win, but they need to be able to win strong enough to have a buy behind it.
Well, the play is in motion. Big will have a MAC-10 in the hands of Gob B, Galil, but it's very solid across the board. Couple of AKs taken out of the previous round for ENCE. In the very capable hands of Aerial and Alu. Big to start the round off playing aggressively. There is a smoke deployed. This is allowing Alu a lot of real estate, pushing into box halls. It's not typically going to be a smoke that you spam through, but Alu's taking some damage now, down to 50.
Yeah, he backed in the fire when that spam came through, and that is an ice-cold play to make at 14-11. Fortunate he's not punished, but he did get some information. You can see they're pretty confident. And I mean, this is an even more ice-cold play to make from ENCE as a team. Sergey and Alu both rotated outside. Sergey's heading back now, but he's going to be playing it very passively. They believe this is going to be a hit towards the A bomb site, and they want as many bodies there as quickly as possible to defend.
They're willing to potentially lose off that gambit. There's 2 Molotovs. One's just been expended into Pop Dog. Allows Aerial to focus his attention elsewhere, but down comes Nex. That's a good Molotov. It actually forces Aerial out. That crossfire is no longer as strong as it once was.
No flashbang over, and there's the opening fight won by Aerial. Next coming out next. Aerial's not going to peek back towards it, though, and running out of utility is big. They need to do something that's going to cause this defense to shift. It might just be there between Nex and Xantares. Another big win, another big follow-up, and we're in a 2-on-2.
22 seconds left, need to still retrieve the bomb. Now Nex has it, 42 health separates him and Death, and potentially Big, and in 15th round, he's being tagged up, but Xantares helps him out. It's all on Sergey, he's already picked off one clutch. It'll be 1-1, and there's the first and second, and Sergey's gonna get it done again. ENCE are dodging bullets. How are they still alive?
I have no idea. This has been incredible that they've been able to hang on into this, and I think they might have just found themselves an easier route. Still not a clean win, only one player surviving. And that's going to make a really tough decision for Big, because they don't have any more cash to get multiple AK-47s. They don't really have any money left to battle with in this, but you want to keep that economic pressure on, because if ENCE is on the verge of reset, you just win one round, and then you have the final round, the 30th round on pistols, or the round to get to your 16th. Regardless, ENCE not done fighting yet for their life in this major.
Really gotta credit ENCE for the iron resolve. Sergey tagged but not dropped. Now, when you consider it's just pistols and no utility, that should be okay for ENCE. They'd lost him. Big may have just swarmed the site, and this could be another interesting round. As it stands, oh no! Oh no, Xantares has found Sergey, finishes him off. And they're not actually going to pile B after this. They're going to be going down to Pop Dog instead, potentially. No, they decide against it. They're going to wait for the counteractive play from ENCE.
I think the only thing they can do is hit this B bomb site. I mean, they obviously didn't expect Xantares to get that pick. But I don't think you can go back towards the outer yard with no nades. Tapson now has the deagle, so does Nex. But no one is peeking from ENCE. Seems like they've made the decision to play just as safe as possible in this round against pistols, knowing what they're up against, and 4 players survived. The money is bolstered. That's great for ENCE, and we're going to have another bye in this round from Big. 14-13.
And with the previous round going pretty comfortably in the end to the Finns, their economy is able to support a full healthy buy, but 3 of them are pretty damn low on funds. X7 $50, Alexi B 100, Sergey 800. Last timeout has been used from Big. They know how important this round is. They're going to have a buy. I don't think they're going to have an AWP unless Xantares gets it, but then it would put him onto very low in terms of utility, so I think we're going to have a full AK stack here.
Which I think opens up the playbook in a way, in a sense that you can be much more aggressive if you're Big with more AK-47s, much more fast-paced, much more, you know, assertive as you push down along these trains trying to get deep into the bomb sites. Also, the nade work, if he goes for the AWP, not able to have, you know, the flashes and the Molotov. Tapson's been pretty quiet this map relative to what he was like on Dust 2.
Yeah.
He's at 12 and 18. And Alu has an AWP of his own. That's a great kill. Just when I call his name, of course it works out in this fashion. And Alu, you know he wants to stay aggressive, but realizing it's just not worth the risk. If they go down to 3 players at Box Hall, if they lose 2 players at Box Halls, there's no way to recover from that.
Exactly. Play the long haul. Play the big picture. He'd love to get the avenge kill straight away, but there was smoke, couldn't see anything. Godby and Tizian do drop down to Galil's rather than the AK. This affords them more nades. They both have Molotovs now. And 2 of the 3 smokes. Nex has the other one. But again, ENCE ice cold in this call. And they're going to keep 2 players on the B side. Haven't budged an inch.
Yeah, they haven't heard anything outside. X7 and Aerial have heard absolutely nothing. There's been no utility usage, nothing to draw anyone away. And here we go, Vince.
That flashbang is solid. Alexi B is going to have his eyes clearing up just in the nick of time. And he goes in with 2. They're not going to counter. It's a 3rd kill for Alexi B. 2 bullets left and able to reload. Big completely stalling that push. And ENCE now will be taking us to 14 each. Unless Tizzy can pull off a masterful clutch. But he's going to be walking out into the hands of X7 and Alu, who's making a move around the back, plus Alexi B is rotating, and ENCE do get another round. Big just completely stalled in their ramp push there.
This has turned into a game of just minimizing mistakes, and ENCE are doing it better at the moment. Obviously, they're helped out a little bit by the CT side. No one coming through quick enough. That third player, you could see Nex just kind of stuck. I think he thought he was coming out, but he was stuck against the wall inside of that smoke. No vision whatsoever. That makes it so easy for Alexi. If Big drop this and go to a third map, it's going to be so crushing. They had everything they could have wanted down the stretch. One AK-47 on Xantares. He's going to lead the way on top of the trains, looking for something, anything. Spots one. This is deathmatch, and he's not going to win it. The Og standing strong, far back. Aerial now under a lot of pressure. He's going to deliver as well. Tizian gets the dink, and Alu drops a nade on his teammate. Love to see that.
God, Alu smites his teammate. Why not?
ENCE is... They've done some kind of witchcraft to be playing for the win in map 2 going into round 30.
Yeah, you just saw Nex's reaction there, looking up to the heavens. You can really tell if Big lose this now, it's going to take some serious rallying of God B to get their minds back in the game. It's such a pivotal moment. It's such a massive match. You're facing elimination. You're on the brink of taking it 2-0. If you let this slip now...
Yeah, it hurts. I mean, you could see how much you can struggle on a T side of train, and you really have to capitalize on your opportunities. This map and Nuke, you just have to win when you have the chance to, and Big unfortunately let a massive round slip away. There's a chance here. They were so close to swinging out wide, except for the flames that were in the choke point, and if they hadn't, if there weren't any fires there in ladder room, it could have just been demolished. There's the anti-flash. Tizian doesn't even get blind whatsoever anyways. Flashbang was a dud. 2 players waiting at the bottom of ladder room. Nex and Tapson just having presence. Tizian forced up the ladder at 23 HP. That's going to be tough. He'll have to be passive, and as I mentioned earlier, he's been so good on bomb site takes in this map for Big that it's an important piece of the puzzle.
Tizian singed down to 23 health.
Look at ENCE though. We saw them gambling earlier during the comeback. Now that the victory is in reality, they don't want to cheat anyone away from the B bomb site. We saw them at one point rotate both in their defenders out to the A bomb site. Here, they're just saying, we're not moving, we're not budging, we don't know what's going to be a fake or not.
Oh, but Thompson's been given a clear way straight through. Xantares does get taken down with the smoke in A main. It isolates, segregates the terrorists from one another. Oh, they nearly lined up for God B, but the bomb's now been dropped. Here comes Nex from the shadows. He will strike. 2 kills in the round. Can he double up? Can he go on better? The pop flash not quite working. Ali rather corner, no scope, close range, and ENCE will take us to a 3rd map. I have no idea how it happens, but we're moving to map 3 all the same.
Go back to round 22. That is where you need to look to find the reason why